Splitsville is now in theaters, directed by Michael Angelo Covino, starring Dakota Johnson, Adria Arjona, Kyle Marvin, and the director, Covino himself. This movie is, let me just read the description because trying to explain this movie is kind of hard, I guess. When his wife Ashley asks for a divorce, Carrie runs to his friends for support, only to learn that the secret to their happiness is an open marriage. That is until Carrie crosses the line and throws all their relationships into chaos. So we have like two storylines that connect pretty quickly. Dakota Johnson and Kyle Marvin, those two characters. No, I lied to you. Dakota Johnson and Covino are together in a relationship. They are in an open marriage, and Adria Arjona character and Kyle Marvin's character, they are in an unhappy marriage, and she asks for a divorce, much to Kyle Marvin's disappointment and dismay. And ultimately, you know, things happen between the four characters at one point or another. This thing is like absolutely hilarious. I don't really want to spoil too much of this movie because please go see this in theaters. It's not really that been heavily advertised. It's clearly made on like a smaller budget. This is like this is a crazy slapsticky romantic comedy, basically, which this is just a movie that doesn't really get made anymore and put into theaters. And for Covino, the director and one of the stars of this, to make this like weird mix of genres and tones, but always this thing is like so unserious, and at any moment is filled with a bit from the that you would see in like The Naked Gun or a Scary Movie. Like it is a perfect. It works so well. This movie runs like 2 hours, or not 2 hours. This movie runs like 100 minutes, and we're like 80 minutes into this movie, and then there's just for absolutely no reason, one of the characters is just like upstairs in a house searching for something, and he goes into this Rite Aid bag and totally unexplained just pulls out like the longest receipt ever. You know how you get long receipts at like at, you know, the grocery store or whatever, or at a Rite Aid or whatever, and for some reason it's so funny that it comes out of nowhere in this movie that's like very real and not necessarily grounded in reality because of how ridiculous some of the concepts get in this movie, but just unexplained. It's never addressed that he just pulls out this long receipt out of this tiny brown paper bag and just absolutely murdered at my screening of it. Just like people were dying laughing very loudly, as was I. This thing is like perfect almost. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Anytime you put Dakota Johnson on screen, I'm just like automatically in. She is my favorite actress easily. She's so just unique and is doing kind of less of a Dakota Johnson thing in this movie, where she's not as like dry humor, stale, like you can't really read her. She plays very vulnerable in this movie and kind of straightforward, which is, I think it's a good change from her to every now and then kind of have this type of performance in her where she can be funny in this stale way, because the tone of the movie really matches what she's good at, I think. And Adria Arjona, especially in Hitman, is like really in sync with the tone of this movie. And then the two guys in this, Marvin and Covino, I think they're like friends or something. It feels like they basically co-directed this movie, even though Covino's the only one that gets credit for it. I think Marvin worked on the script, and these guys are like friends, I guess. So funny. The amount of shit that they put each other through. There's like multiple fight scenes that they have, and slap fights, and just hilarious nonsense that goes on, especially between the Marvin character and Arjona's character, especially like once they get like divorced and they decide to open up their marriage instead, and she's like, all right, that's fine, I'm gonna be meeting, as you know, so many people. And then the fact that Marvin like becomes friends with all these guys and they all live at the house together. It's, if you haven't seen it, I feel like I'm talking nonsense, but I wanted to make a video about this thing because it deserves to be seen. This is easily going to be in my top 10 for the year, I'd say, and it's only September, so there's still a lot of movies to see. But this is a movie that just doesn't get made anymore. It feels like this. You know, we got The Naked Gun, we got Friendship, like two really good comedies, but this is like a pure rom-com. But also, it feels like an I think you should leave sketch at times, which is good because I think You Should Leave is fantastic, and this feels like something Tim Robinson could have been in, but it's not. It's you know, Dakota Johnson and Adria Arjona, these two like stunning actresses with these two like mid-looking guys that are just the most average-looking normal people that you've ever seen, and I think that plays up the humor as well, where it's just like these two women are like, they're losing their minds and their lives are falling apart because of these two guys. It's a really good dynamic, and everyone in it is in on the jokes that happen, and some of the best action sequences, not sequences, but some of the best action filmmaking, where I love the fact that not a lot, there's like 2 or 3 different fight scenes, I'll say in quotes, fight scenes, and the camera just holds, doesn't move. Maybe it cuts once to a different side of the room, but it's just like, let's point the camera at these two buffoons of men and just actually like, let's watch them fight and see how pathetic it looks. And it works. These guys look pathetic when they fight. It's so funny because it's such a welcome change from the not kind of the John Wickification that we've had of like action movies recently, where just like everything has to be in like one big take and epic and things must be different. And while all that's good, it's like, it's so welcome to see, like the average guy looks like a complete idiot or moron when he's fighting another guy, basically. And there's numerous times where it happens and just, it really kills me. It's so good. This movie is such a fun time. So please go see Splitsville, is what I'll say. One of my favorite movies of the year. I wanted to keep this review very brief, and I think I've done that. So I didn't spoil too much either. So go see Splitsville. Oh, also really good child performance from, I believe his name is Simon Webster. Yeah, his name's Simon Webster. Hilarious. The kid is funny. He plays the timing of it really well, because he's not necessarily like pulling off jokes or anything like that, but it's just like a really good shut down child performance when like life around him is just completely chaotic and unrealistic and ridiculous. But really good stuff from everyone involved here. So go see Splitsville. That's my review. One of my favorite movies of the year. A movie that just doesn't get made anymore, and it got made, so go support it and go watch it in a theater with a bunch of people and laugh. But that's my review of Splitsville. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. I'll see you in the next review. Goodbye.